Hello everyone, and welcome to the lecture on parsing HTML with the Beautifulsoup module. In this lecture, we'll write programs that will pull information off of web pages. This is known as web scraping. When your browser downloads a web page, it's actually downloading a plain text file formatted as HTML. If you know about HTML and CSS selectors, it will be great. It's great. If not, we'll briefly look into them. Okay? HTML is the text that tells your browser how to make the web page look. So, here I am in Amazon.com, and then I can check out the HTML by right-clicking in the web page and then click on View Page Source. So this is the HTML of the entire web page. Okay? It's mostly text with a bunch of elements enclosed in angular brackets. So if I right-click on the page and click on Inspect, you see here the HTML. So if you hover over some part of the HTML, you'll see the corresponding section highlighted. You see here? When I hover over this part of the HTML, the Marvel superheroes, this section is highlighted. So the corresponding section will be highlighted when we hover over this sections. So basically HTML is mostly text with a bunch of elements enclosed in this angular brackets. Okay? And if I want to know which HTML text corresponds to some text on the page, I can simply right click on it and then select Inspect. So that will highlight the corresponding HTML text. Okay, in our previous lecture, we have seen that the requests module handles downloading the web page itself. In order to locate some text in HTML, we need to parse this HTML by using the Beautifulsoup module. So this Beautifulsoup module is a third-party module. So we need to install it by using the pip install command, okay? So pip space install beautiful Beautiful Beautifulsoup 4, the 4th version, okay? So if you are using Windows, go to your command prompt, and if you are on Mac or Linux, open your terminal and type pip space install space Beautifulsoup 4. Okay? Now that we have that, let's start. So first, I'll be importing Beautifulsoup 4. So for importing, all we have to write is B, S, and 4. We also need to import requests, right? Let's say I'm here on ebay.com, right? ebay.com. Let's say I want to find out the price of a particular item. Let's say I'm looking for a basketball. Okay. So I have a list of basketballs here. So how can I find out the price of this particular basketball? Okay. So I want to locate this price, $13.16. So we will handle that by using the Beautifulsoup module. Okay, let's start first. The first thing we need is to get the web page URL, right? We saw that in our previous lecture. So requests.get and then the URL. So let me go back to this URL and grab it. Command C to copy, and then paste it. Okay, I have the URL. So I'll save this in some object. Let me call it response res. Okay, this will handle the actual downloading. Now I'll use the res for status method to see if there is any error or not. Okay, so on my object res, I can call the res for status attribute, res underscore for underscore status. Good. So if I run that now, and if there is any issue, I'll see an error. But if there is nothing, that means it's good. Okay, let's move on. Next, by using the Beautifulsoup for module, there is a function called Beautifulsoup. So we will use that to parse the HTML text we downloaded. So we have BS4, our module, that the function is called Beautifulsoup, BEAUTIFUL, and soup, SOUP. Okay, that's the name of the function. Note that B and S is uppercase. And then we'll pass our res.text. So this will help us pass the HTML text that we downloaded. And I'll save that in an object. I'll call it soup. And then let's run it at this moment. Okay. So I have this. This is a warning. Okay. This is not an exception. This is just a warning. So why am I getting this warning? This warning shows up because Beautifulsoup can parse other things. It's not only HTML that Beautifulsoup can parse. It can parse other things also. That's why this warning showed up. So it will assume that we want to parse HTML. Okay? So again, this is not an exception. Warning in Python is not an exception. Okay? You can still continue with this. However, if you want to hide this warning, we can pass HTML that parser as a second argument. Okay? So here we can pass HTML that parser as our second argument. That way it will ignore this error. Okay? This warning, I mean. This warning won't come if you pass this parser, HTML parser. Let's run it again. Good. Now the warning is gone. And it's your choice. You can ignore the warning if you want. Now our soup object is ready to find HTML elements in the web page that we downloaded. And we do this by using the select method that we have on our soup object. Okay? So we have our object that select, and then we pass the CSS selector path. Okay? So to find the CSS selector path, all we have to do is go to our web page, and then let's say I want to find the CSS selector path for this dollar amount. All I have to do is select it, then right click on it, click on inspect. Okay, here on the right, this is the CSS selector. So select it, click on it. Once it's highlighted, right click on it, and then go to copy, and then under copy I have copy selector. Here I have copy selector, and depending on your browser you might see copy CSS selector or just selector. Okay, so click on it and go back to your soup.select and paste it here. Good. So what select does is returns a list of all elements. Okay. So we passed the CSS selector of the element that we want to look for by right clicking on the element and then copying the CSS path, CSS selector path, right? And then what the select will do is return a list of all elements. So I'll copy the result of this in another object, since it's returning elements, a list of elements. Okay. Let me save it in an object called, let's say elements. Okay. And then on this element, we can run the text attribute. So text holds the string value of the selected element. Okay. So here I can say my element object and then pass index 0 dot text. Okay, now let's run it. So here I got my element, right? So this text holds the string value of my selected element. That's what I have here, right? So using text, I was able to get the string value of this selected element. Here I see a bunch of tabs and new line and so on. How can I get rid of that? This text has a method on it called the strip method. So by using the strip method, I can remove all this new lines and tabs. Okay. So elements at index 0 dot text dot strip, and then run it. So now I got only the element that I selected on the web page, right? Don't worry about U. U means the Unicode representation of this selected element string, okay? And if I print that, it will only print the selected element. Okay? So that's what it printed, 1360.